Bum 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 bum. Dun 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 dun. Let's start. Hello, everybody. My name is Rodgon. I'm an artist, a teacher, a designer, a mentor, an illustrator, cartoonist, graphic designer, marketer, and everything in between. And today we are going to learn something cool together. So let's talk a little bit about what we went over yesterday so that we can learn a little bit past that. So yesterday we had a long session. So yesterday we talked a little bit about hair. We described a little bit about how the flow works whenever it's actually being there. And it's more like like if you learn how to draw plants, you can learn how to draw hair. Because hair is very similar to like a potted plant. So if you think about your hair like as if it was a potted plant and you just identify your hairline, it tends to become a little bit easier to actually imagine. So that was that, and then we talked a little bit about the torso, and we talked a little bit about how to learn to differentiate different parts of the body and how to actually start drawing them in the right place. Ta-da! So that is what we learned yesterday. And so what should we learn to... Oh, wait, no. We have more lessons. That wasn't yesterday. What did we learn yesterday? Oh, yesterday we learned posing. Ah, that's right. We were drawing posing. And we were doing clothing, and we were doing like posing tips, and I taught you guys how to see volume from zero. So that was really fun. Made a nice Crowley Good Omens doodle sketch thing today. Hey, cool. That's awesome, man. So today, what should we draw today? What should we learn? Should we go into a little book of secret lessons? Something fell. All right. Hello, Mr. Book of Secret Little Lessons. Hello, lesson book. What shall we draw today? So, this is my little book of private lessons, the ones that I keep for myself, the ones that I'm going to use for my book. So, what should we draw today? What should we draw today? So, we can talk about... No, we've been talking about this a lot. So how about we learn to rotate the face in every single direction possible? How about that? So head rotation. Head rotations. So head rotations normally are a pain in the ass. Because you need to learn how to move all your elements in a bunch of different positions. So you need to learn how to draw things from different angles, which involves learning how to draw body parts bending in different ways. So when you try to learn how to draw a lot of really cool positions like this, what tends to get us is this little section right here. This little section right here is a motherfucker. Right? We hate this area. I don't think there's an artist that actually thinks that that area is relatively easy to draw. So we're going to simplify that in order for you guys to actually be able to do that. How about that? So I'm going to teach you guys cylindrical faces as opposed to learning how to draw spherical faces. So I'm going to show you guys how to draw with your cylinders so you guys can come up with cooler angles really easy. Because drawing them from a cylinder, for some reason, is so much easier than drawing them from an actual sphere. I don't know why. It's the same kind of concept. You have to wrap your jaw around to get to the other side, but it's so much easier on an actual cylinder for some reason. So we're going to talk about that. So what is the basic approach to drawing the head? Like the most basic way to draw a head. Basic time. So the most basic way to draw a face would be to draw the happy face, right? That would be the most essentially basic face. I'm basic. I'm a basic bitch. Yeah, sassy. So this is a basic face. You don't really get much easier than this. So if you want to actually learn how to move this in space, it's pretty easy, right? Just give it a midline, and then you just change that midline, and you can rotate and move the face around very simply. So the moment that you just add a little bit of a midline, you have the ability to rotate the face normally. Well, this is just very simple, and it's going to give us a nice flat surface if we do that. So we don't want that. We want a rotation, right? You know, we want like the curvature that goes along with actually drawing a face. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle, and to give ourselves a nice round surface, we're going to draw another circle inside. That other circle is going to give us the rotation that we need, and we're going to be able to just draw our characters a little bit better. Now that when we go into the rotations, we go into the top and the bottom, well, we just follow that guideline, and it tends to look a little bit better. As you get around this shape, you're going to have instances where like your mouth is really big and your eyes are going to be around. They're going to go around this shape, and they're going to end up on the opposite side. What do I mean? Let me make this a little clearer. So, if you have this point, and that's your mouth, right here, if you rotate them around, you're going to eventually end up with a situation where you just go around your face, right? This ends up being the back side, and this is the front side. So you just end up in a rotation loop that ends up with happy face, happy face, happy face, happy face, happy face. So you just end up seeing it all the way around. So that is going to be a very basic exercise that you can do to get used to drawing your faces going around. Start with your face all the way up here, and then slowly rotate it down. You're going to start seeing that as you go around your shape, those are going to curve, and essentially this is going to turn like a wheel. Right? This is going to be like a little wheel, like a tread. Not a very good teacher. Seems like you're just kind of making it up as you go. Really? Well, you would be the very first person to tell me I'm a bad teacher, by the way. No, it's good to get some feedback, though. So if this is not making sense to you, apparently I might be explaining things that are a little hard for you. So if you are not understanding the basic concept of what I'm doing, that's going to lead to something more expansive, like drawing an actual face structure, right? If you don't understand the basics that come along with that, you're going to never be able to progress past a certain point. These things have volume, right? In all sorts of ways and fashions. So if you don't learn how to see that volume by seeing the front and the back of it, you're going to have such a hard time drawing things like necks, torsos, bodies. You're going to have such a difficult time, and I'm trying to explain that to everyone easy so that you guys don't struggle. Yes, we can draw very complex shapes like, oh, let's start drawing cool, complicated eyes that you guys won't know how to rotate. And let me draw something that is going to mesmerize you, but you're not going to know how the hell I did it. Yay! That's the awesome way that streamers do it all the time. Why shouldn't I do the same thing that everybody else does? Why should I try to explain things easy for people? You're ridiculous. So chill out. If I'm a bad teacher, you can always leave. Yeah, and I don't ever say any of this stuff with like any bad and ill intent. I just want you guys to understand why I do that. Like, it takes time and effort to actually put a bad comment out. So it doesn't take any effort to keep your mouth shut. Okay, so let's go back to the actual rotation of the face. So now that you have this very basic concept down, right? You have a very basic concept of a sphere. Now we're going to add a triangle to the mix, and we're going to start mapping our actual shapes. So let me show you the power of a triangle within a head shape. The power of a triangle gives you everything from your cheekbones to your mouth instantly. It doesn't give you like guidelines like front and back and stuff like that, but it gives you different ways to actually draw your features. And it's going to all be based on actual anatomy. So when you draw a triangle, you can just follow the lines around and find this sort of shape. Now, this sort of shape is going to give you your chin, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, and your eyebrows. All very, very quickly. This is also going to give you guidelines that are going to help you to be able to draw your heads in different styles. So it won't be able to just be this. All that from a simple triangle. And doesn't have to necessarily be a circle shape either. So you follow these around, and then you get yourself a nice, cool structure that you can use to draw. It's going to take you a while to get good at it. It's going to take you a little bit to actually learn how to like manipulate the shapes and stuff. But it's just another way that you guys can use to be able to draw this. The eyes go inside these shapes. So essentially what you're drawing when you do this, right? When you do this, triangle. When you're doing this, you're essentially drawing all the anatomy that you need from your actual skeletal system. So you're actually using knowledge based on the things that are inside of your body. So when you start drawing, you already have all those landmarks without doing absolutely anything. So in order for you to get to the point where you can see all this stuff though, you need to understand where things fall. You need to understand where things connect. You need to understand where things touch. How things connect is very important. So in order to draw faces looking up, you need to master the ability of drawing this shape, looking up. So a triangle, follow the lines to the edge of your shape, draw where your chin is going to go, draw your eyes. Your nose is going to come out here. I'll show you guys how to do the nose in a second. The mouth is going to curve. And then all you got to do is draw your ear. Find your ears on both sides. By drawing a circle, you can draw a circle inside your shape to find the other ear. And then just connect it to the chin, to the other ear. And things like this start becoming a little easier. Not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's easier. I go live every day. Yeah, I go live every day around this time. So now let's make this even easier. How about that? Let's make this even easier. Let's start drawing cylinders. Why cylinders? You'll see why in a second. So let's start a cylinder. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Why a cylinder? Well, because if we draw like this sort of shape and then we draw an eyeball shooting a laser beam with it. Imagine like an eyeball shooting a laser. All you got to do is draw one ear, find the other ear by finding the other side, draw your chin, and then connect them. Now you have the front of your face, really easy, alongside with the top of your head that you can just curve down and you have essentially your face. So that is much easier for me to do because this also provides me my rib cage, my arms, and I can start mapping out my bodies much quicker if I actually base them on anatomy. So let's go again. Let's try some more examples. We're going to start with a cylinder. We're going to draw an eyeball. Going to make it into a laser beam. Kaiju. We're going to give my ear. Going to find my other ear by drawing around my shape. Then I draw my chin, and I'm going to connect my jaw to my chin, and that one connects around. Gives me my depth for my face. And I have my neck. Cool. That was easy. I have the curvature that I need for the face. So this is gonna just give me all my mapping points. My triangle is gonna complete the rest of the body parts that I need. And I just finish off my design. Ta-da! It's a very easy way to do it. So let's try now. We were talking about rotating the head, right? So how do we rotate the head with this? Well, it's actually really easy because you just bend the cylinder and you have your face is looking up. Draw a triangle, draw a nose, draw a teardrop, draw a mask. Now you tell me if that's not easier than drawing a circle and a sphere. So let's try again. Cylinder. Eyeball to come up with my body, right? So now I'm going to look really up. I'm going to put my chin right here, like looking really up. I'm going to find my ears. I'm going to put my ear right here and right here. So now I'm going to connect this to my chin and then back down to my ear. I'm going to connect the ears to the middle of here to get my middle neck muscles. And now I have my neck, I have my shoulders, I have my chest, and I have this little division that I can use to draw this looking up. Ta-da! So much, again, you can just push this even further, you know, it just becomes a lot easier. So before I do more examples, because I have a feeling this is actually clicking for people, do me a favor and help me out by liking and sharing my stream. And also by going over to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. Because videos are awesome and there's knowledge and there's everything there for you guys. I have books as well if you guys want to buy my books, but that's all the links in my bios. You guys can check them out later if you guys want. So let's do a little post-it lesson. So, head as a cylinder, not a sphere. Lesson, okay? Okay, so if we draw this as a cylinder, we just draw a neck going in. Okay, cool. So that is essentially the concept behind that. So now we're going to draw. We're always going to start, if you guys want to get better at this, always start with your rib cage, right? So start with your rib cage. At the top of your rib cage, you're going to draw a little circle, and you're going to draw the eye shape. Okay? This is going to give you the size of your head by just drawing a cylinder up. Okay, so once you draw your cylinder, find your ears. Then find your jaw, your chin. Connect them. You have your head. And then this part, if you don't want a neck that big, just either curve it in or make the eye a little smaller. So now let's try it again. Cylinder, eyeball, rib cage. I'm gonna set my ears. So I'm gonna find my ear over here. And then I'm gonna draw my chin, and I'm gonna draw my jaw connecting to this one, and then connecting to that one. Cool, I have my necky looking up. Oh, that was so hard. So hard. Then we draw the midline, and I draw a triangle. And then that triangle gets followed to come up with my cheekbones, and my jawline, and my eyebrows. And my nose, all you got to do for the nose is draw a triangle and then connect all 3 lines to it. And then you have a nose area. And then the mouth is just 2 dots that you connect with a curve. And then you overlap the top one and you make a little bit darker and you have a mouth. So, now that you know how to draw a head with a cylinder, and you can move that neck up all you want, it will be a little bit easier for you to draw those really complex angles. You're welcome! So it just makes it easier. Like, I don't know. For some reason, for me, when I saw this, and I was like, well, this is easy. Like, I can just make this chunky if I want a chunky person. I can make this like little if I want a little kid instead of an adult. You know, like I just move that around and I just make the proportions a little smaller, bigger, and then it just works. So try doing that. See if that's a better way for you to draw your actual characters. Like I always say, it's not always about just repeating and learning the same bullshit that we learn from everybody. Like, at one point, you are creative, right? So you should be able to visualize things differently than other people. When you actually do that and you actually come up with something cool, share it with the world so that everybody can actually have access to that knowledge and we all grow as a community. So that is essentially what you should be aiming for. So let's put our lesson in here. Let's cover the bad drawings. And bam. Can you erase guidelines and make it realistic? Yeah, you can do that too. So if you are actually going to be using this for more realistic purposes, right? So you would actually take this. Let's try to draw like a more detailed character. And I'm going to use the highlighter to just sketch out my shape. You'll see that I'm not going to start with a box. I'm going to start with a box, but like a squared box. I'm going to give my cylinder its proportions. I'm going to go into my neck. This is my rib cage at this point. And the eyelets that I draw for my actual eye are going to provide me my muscles for the side of my body. Okay, so that's going to be roughly that. This is going to be roughly that area where my head is going to come out. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a neck. Let's make this a little taller. Draw our ears. And these are just guidelines right now. I'm going to adjust the guidelines depending on if I see the character is not proportioned enough or if it doesn't look like it is looking like I want it. So now that I have all my guidelines, I'm going to draw myself some eyeballs. I'm going to draw myself some lines for my mouth. Cool. So now I have that. It's all about detail at this point. It's all about understanding anatomy and how it wraps around your basic shapes, and learning how to stylize that to your desired result. That could be more a realistic approach. You can spend all the time adding all the anatomy that you want to this. It's going to be limited to how much anatomy you actually know, right? You're not gonna magically know how to draw anatomy if you've never taken the time to learn how to draw anatomy features. It doesn't just magically come up to you like just because you've been drawing for a long time. It doesn't just magically happen, right? You have to actually go out and observe and learn and take the time to actually breathe in some knowledge. The more you add lines, the more you add structure, the more you add contrast to different areas, you're going to get different results. But this guidelines that you draw are essentially going to be pretty universal, and you can use them to be able to map out your drawings in different styles. So it doesn't have to be that. You can use those same guidelines to draw something completely different. You don't have to keep those same proportions ever. The drawings are going to be very, very much based on anything that you feel is appealing. Your actual outcome of whatever you end up drawing is going to be based on your ability to actually use your tools and your knowledge to a fuller extent. If you don't have the ability to do so, you're going to struggle. And it's not a matter of, it's only anybody can learn this. Anybody, absolutely anybody. You don't have to be really good at drawing in general. It's just a couple basic landmarks that you guys have to keep in mind, and just very basic perspective that you guys need to learn. You guys need to learn how to draw cylinders, or in an even easier way of saying it, all you got to do is draw 2 circles and connect them with a line. That's all you really need. 2 circles, connect them with a line, and draw a couple more circles inside. If you want to add more guidelines, add a midline, triangle, follow the lines for the triangle to come up with your face, chin, ears, and now you have your whole head. It even gives you your hairline. Awesome. There you go. Da-da-da. Do you what? Do you have nothing better to do? Who? Me? People who come in here and say, clean your nails or cut your nails. Well, here. My dirty nails are just a consequence of drawing all day. And it's a consequence of actually doing things. So it's not necessarily something that I find upsetting. To me, it's just how my fingers work. That's how they look after a day of drawing. So, it's more of a badge of honor for me than it is to look down upon it. Because if my hands are not dirty at the end of the day, then I didn't do enough. If my hands are not dirty, then, I didn't pick up my pen enough in order to be able to get dirty. So at one point or another, I have to think, okay, well, is that a point of a shame, or should I just keep going and doing it? And I'd rather draw than take the time to be oh my God, my nails are dirty. Can you go over the nose and lips? Yes, we can totally go over noses and lips. So let's go over noses first, because we are seeing noses drawn right here. So in order to draw a nose, let's start with our cylinder. because we're going to start drawing everything together. We're going to start tying everything together. So we're going to draw our cylinder, and we're going to draw one midline, and we're going to draw one midline by drawing another circle. At this conjunction, we're going to use that to draw our little triangle. Our little triangle is going to give us the guidelines that we need for everything else. This guideline right here gives us two guidelines. This gives us our guide to our chin. But this line also gives us the guide to our cheekbone. This guide gives us the space for our nose bridge, and it guides us roughly to where our eyebrows go. So now we have this fun little like butterfly thingy, or whatever you want to call it, or just three little circles that connect from this little tiny diamond. So now what do we use this diamond for? Well, when we have a diamond, any sort of diamond, we can make a pyramid by making a single dot and connecting the lines. This pyramid can be done in both going up, going down. So it's very easy to just go draw a dot, connect all three of those things, and now you have the area for your nose. Cool. So that's why it's a strong shade. This is also going to give you your nose bridge into your eyebrow really, really easy. And then if you want to, you can just keep on following those guidelines to be able to get a very rudimentary face. Now, from here to my ear, I'm going to have my jaw that wraps around my cylinder. And then the cylinder is going to be the very basis for my neck. From here, decide on how you want your eyes to be. And then from here, you have your head. This is going to be the top of your head. But you already have all the perspective from your cylinder, so you can draw your hairline really easy. And then if you think of your hair like a potted plant, then you can draw all your hair coming out from there. Could you draw another face like the big one with two sides? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I can draw a little one right here. So we're going to divide the very basic mannequin that we draw, in this case a cylinder, into an eyeball, and we're going to do two different styles based on this. One of them is going to be like a big burly dude. Let's draw a big burly dude. Draw a triangle, find all our mapping points. Okay. And then the other one is going to be a nice, cute little pinup. Let's give her a little tank top, little crop top, some jeans. So you can use that same technique, those same measurements, that same style to come up with a bunch of different things. It doesn't have to be just superheroes or girls. It can be absolutely anything. You also live on YouTube. I found it earlier, can't now. I am not live on YouTube very often. YouTube is essentially my gallery of where all the good videos go to be, so people can replay them. Because I don't know if TikTok does that, but. Cylinder, let's make another face looking really up, because it's really easy when you see it like Rodgon. Triangles help you see things better. Triangles make these obsessions easy. Easy. What type of stream is this? So I know what to. I don't know what kind of stream this is. What would you guys call my type of stream? Like, you guys are the ones that find it. I call it screw you art school for taking money away from people stream dot you guys can learn without spending all your money slash I am an artist that's been doing this for a very long time and I don't like people struggling slash I like to draw a lot and I want sketching buddies stream. Yeah. I think that's a good name for it. I think that's gonna be our title. Might be a little long, but I think that's suitable. You once talked about a triangle being from the back between the shoulders. So if we want to look at the muscles from behind, right? If we're looking at the body and we're looking at all the muscles from behind, this is essentially the muscles that you're looking at, right? So whenever you're drawing a character from behind, draw your eyeball into your rib cage, into your laser beam for your eyeballs, for your head. So now you have perfect proportioned upper body. Okay, so now we have our arms, and we have some legs, and we have a hip bone. So now we have a bunch of different measurements here. So if we're looking at this from the back, well, first of all, the back muscles right here at the top connect like this to the top of the head. So if you have your head, you're going to have two muscles in the back of your head that connect to your shoulders. Okay, so these muscles overlap like this. And then these muscles are the ones that connect to your back of your ears. Then from here, you have your jaw in the front. So that is the first step that you need to know. The overlap of your neck muscles happens like this. Okay, so you essentially have like this little thing in the back of your head, and that's what has your ears. So that's the very first thing that you need to remember. At the edge of that, at that very point, you're going to have a little vertebrae that sticks out a tiny bit. And then it continues onto your spine. So that is going to be your mapping point right there. Then once you go down, so let's draw those muscles. You're going to end up with a situation right here with your arms. So you're going to go into your shoulders that wrap from one side of your eye to the other. So it goes from this down here, from here to here. So now you have your shoulder, and now you have your tricep and your muscles right here. They connect like a puzzle. Your back muscles right here are going to need to wrap around your rib cage. So this rib cage is going to, at the bottom of this rib cage, draw a little heart so you can come up with your butt. Right? That's how you come up with the butt. That's like the easiest way. From that bottom part, back part of the rib cage, that's how you draw your booty. It's a little heart. Connect the edges, and you have a very basic back. Now from here, all you gotta do to come up with more muscles is to just wrap around your muscles coming in. And that's all you really need to do for back muscles, because we don't really find ourselves drawing back muscles too much. So let's draw this a little bit bigger. So we have our eyeball, we have our laser beam, we have our rib cage, we have our arm. Okay, we have our neck muscles like we explained them right now. We have the head, we have our ears. Then we have our shoulders that touch from one side of this ear to the other, one side of this to the other, and my hand comes in from there. Then we have our tricep and my forearm into my hand, tricep into forearm into hand, boom. Then here we have our spine, and we have that little divot at the back of our rib cage. From here, I'm going to draw a little heart to come up with where my butt is going to be, and it also gives me my hip bones. Connect them. Then from here, we have your back muscles, and you create this little diamond right here to create the little wingy parts of your actual shoulder that come in. It's a little diamond that connects to the top of your rib cage. And as long as you do that, honestly, that's all you really need to do to draw like the back muscles. You don't really need to do much more than that, but you can if you want to, I guess. You're excellent artist. Where were you born? No, I was not born with this talent, man. Like, that's the reason that I teach you guys so badly. Like, I teach you guys all this stuff because I wasn't born with this shit. Like, this was really hard for me to learn. Like, all this stuff was really hard for me to learn because nobody really taught me. Nobody really took the time to, like, tell me I was doing things wrong or doing things right or anything. I was pretty much self-taught when it comes down to my illustration work. So all the little struggles that you guys are finding, I already went through them in droves, and I'm a very driven person. So I spent all the time already trying to figure out how to actually like work that out. I've always been a big proponent that if someone does not provide you what you need out of life to be happy, you make it happen. You just make it happen. Like, if someone doesn't have that TV show that you really desperately want to see, you make it happen. If you don't like know of someone that has like taught something a certain way, okay, cool, make it happen. Be the person that does the thing. Don't be the person that follows necessarily all the time. You have to be the person that does the thing. And you guys know what the thing is. Like, I don't have to explain that. You guys know what the thing is. You guys just don't really jump on it. We all know what that thing is. Because it's a thing that's different for everybody. Be it your project, be it your book or your lessons or your comic or your website or portfolio or your animation. Yeah, you guys know what that is. Like, so don't give me no shit saying that you don't. We all have that. What is the green for? It's to highlight. So the green helps me highlight little sketches. So in this case, if I wanted to highlight the fact that it's a cylinder, I draw the cylinder in. It's a highlighter. It's meant to highlight. So if I wanted to demonstrate how to draw the chest like a sphere, I would just highlight that part. See what I mean? And it helps when you're teaching lessons because it helps you be able to tell and guide people to what you need them to learn. It's all about focal points. It's all about understanding focal points and understanding how things work. How long has it taken me to get to this level? Okay, so if you consider every single moment that I've been drawing since I was young, you're going to consider 40 years. But I'm not really necessarily going to say it took me 40 years to get to the drawing level that I have now. No. Not even close. Like, I say that if a person dedicates themselves thoroughly, it might take about a year. It might take about a year to get there. But that's with you actually drawing every single day, taking the time to actually analyze your drawings, and taking the time to actually figure out the shit that you don't like. So if you, for example, let me give you an example. The best way to get better is to draw. Want to get better? Let me give you some tips. Okay? Want to get better? Okay? If you want to get better, let's draw Mr. Clicky. So if you want to get better, there's only really a couple ways that you guys can do that. Okay? So one is going to be repetition. So you're going to have to practice over and over. Repetition. But repetition, for example, if you're doing your basic shapes, right? If you're doing your basic shapes and you're practicing these and you start getting bored and you start doing this, that is not practice, okay? That is not practice. That's impatience. And that is not something that I would even, like, if I saw you or anybody that I'm tutoring do this bullshit, just to fill out pages, just to fill out multiple pages worth of drawings. Well, look, Rod, I drew like 10 pages worth of garbage. Well, let's see. Do I get a bonus points? Do I get brownie points? No, you don't. Because I would rather you draw one circle that's clean, that shows that you understand what you're doing, than to draw a ridiculous amount of nonsense that's not teaching you anything. So repeating without purpose means nothing. So you have to do repetition with purpose. Okay? So if you're drawing cylinders, actively pay attention to what a cylinder is. How do you find its volume? Can you find both sides of the little thing? Can you touch those things? Like, can you cut it in half? Can you slice this? Can you chop things out of it? You know, like little things like this become the exercises that teach you how to actually draw your faces and your, like, body parts in general. Learning how to connect different things and different elements is a matter of just understanding how to move a cylinder in lines. That's it. Cylinders and lines. And then you can get all the volume that you want from your things. So things like legs, arms, stuff like that, all that stuff is cylinders being connected and then applying knowledge of anatomy. Right? You need knowledge of anatomy, not just your basic shapes, because your basic shapes are just your basic shapes. They're guidelines. You need to understand how your body moves and how it works in order to actually be able to make that into a believable character. How to push and pull proportions look appealing, not inexperienced. Practice. Learn anatomy. Like, let me explain something to you right now. I can draw, since I know where things go from, right? I can draw a body. I can draw a body very statically and draw just a normal, simple character with no real burden or thought process to my head. Okay? Because I know where little mapping points are that help me be able to come up with the positions that I need. Now, I can exaggerate every single one of these elements in order to create different things. So if I want to make something with a smaller rib cage, I would just make a little tiny rib cage as opposed to a big rib cage. If I wanted big hip bones like a curvy girl, I would make this little cylinder a little bit wider. Okay? And just by doing that alone, I get curvature to my shapes. So man, squarish, standard, changing two elements, changing this, the rib cage and the hip bones, gave me a completely different persona. Huh. Weird. So what happens if I do this? What happens if I do like a really big body with my really like eyeball? And you can change individual these, like these and this are all individually like shaped. Like you guys can change those too. And then you have your hip bones, make them tiny this time, and then draw your legs. And you end up with yet another character that's well proportioned because you have all the body parts you need, and it's just a different character. So character proportions become easy. Learning about different character types is easy. If you want to change the head, if you don't want like such a big neck, draw the eyes a little bit smaller after you come up with the size of your head. And you can come up with all the different ways of drawing that you guys can imagine. So again, for proportions, all you need to do is change one of these elements. All you need to know is that you have a rib cage with an eyeball at the top. Each one of these can change. So if I make, this is the width of your shoulders. So you can take your neck, your head, and if you make this bigger, you're going to have your shoulders way away from your body. If you make that closer, you're going to have your shoulders closer to your body. Okay, so that is that body part. This body part makes your shoulders go very far out or very far in, right? So that is your shoulder width. So what's next? Obviously, that's your rib cage size, so you can change that. This is the width of your head in accordance to your rib cage. Your eyelids are going to be your shoulders. This midline is going to give you your midline of your rib cage. If you add a little U, you can do that to come up with your hip bones by creating a little heart and then just drawing a cylinder across that. That gives you your hip bones and your butt. That's why I like that shape. That's where your legs come out from. Your legs come out from an angled surface. So if you're drawing your legs, always make sure if you're drawing your heart, this is essentially what you do. Okay, you come up with the nubbies. You use that little curvature to come up with those angles. The junction between this and this is going to be your belly button. From there, you have your legs. You can have your legs come down straight to the side, whatever. Or you can have them come out in curvatures to come up with them, like sexy leggies. The head, like I said, if you want a bigger head than this, you can always change this and use this as your neck. And then just draw the head bigger. So styles are just up for your grabbing. Honestly, like you are the master of your own destiny after you learn how to do this stuff. You get to draw anything you feel like in any way you want, as long as you study enough how to actually draw it. Okay? So that's going to be the end of our lesson for today, everybody. No, don't go, Rodgon. Don't go yet. Oh, no, yes. I'm sorry, people. Your friend Rodgon here needs to finish uploading this pinup book to Amazon so that people can actually purchase it, like in Australia and like the UK and stuff. So I will see you guys tomorrow for another lesson, or later tonight, probably later tonight. I'm a person that has really little self-restraint when it comes down to wanting to teach and draw and stream and draw with people. So you guys will probably see me a little bit later tonight. Like, you know, let's be honest here. I have no life. I am boring. So I will be drawing here with you guys again sometime soon. Until then, if you guys want to catch some other lessons, please go to my YouTube channel. There's hundreds of lessons there for you guys to understand, listen to. I hear my voice is really nice as ASMR. I don't know all about that, but that's kind of cool to hear. I have books for sale if you guys feel like supporting that way. I don't like to take donations because it's just not something you get something out of, right? You guys don't get anything out of that, so don't donate. Just if you guys are gonna do something, get one of my books. They're like ebooks are like $10. You guys can get them and learn something from them, and you guys can actually do something. So, anyways, have a wonderful day, everybody. It's Wednesday, so on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, I want you guys to go on to this lovely world of ours, and I want you to show a little bit of love to someone. That doesn't mean romantic. You don't have to do a romantic gesture to someone, but actually going out and showing someone some kindness is going to be an incredibly nice thing to do. So I would suggest that you go out into this lovely world of ours and try to make someone's life a little bit easier today, even if that is just your own. So I want you to go love a little. I also want you to take a look outside your window right now. And I want you to pinpoint somewhere that you can walk to. That way you get off your butt and you guys actually go do something outside. Now, go get an Arizona iced tea or a piece of bubble gum or a hot dog from 7-Eleven or whatever. Or you're like Scott Martin, whatever you guys actually have in like England and stuff. I love your guys' hot dogs, by the way. And I want you guys to live a little. Why do I ask you guys to do this? Well, because as an artist, you need to actually have life experiences to draw your inspiration from. And a lot of us find it really hard to actually do that. So we run out of steam really quickly, and we run out of things to do and draw and inspiration to draw them from. And, this is something that helps you with that. This is something that is going to help you avoid feeling that like loneliness and that like depression that comes along with being inside doors all day. So go outside and live a little. Then when you're outside, I want you guys to put your favorite podcast on, or I want you guys to actually call your favorite human being in this planet so that they can give you the best dad joke or pun ever. And I want you guys to laugh a little, because laughing, joy in general, is going to be one of the most valuable things that you have at your disposal that you can control. So finding something a little bit happy that's going to get your endorphins going is going to be absolutely wonderful for your self-esteem and everything. So just make sure that you are laughing a little bit each day. And since we are artists, there is one thing we cannot get away from, and that is to draw a lot. So if you guys have drawn along with me today, you guys have met your quota. You guys do not have to draw anymore today, but no one really has ever told us that drawing has a limit, right? So we're going to keep going until we get bored or until our hands hurt, because that is the way to do it. That is the way, my friends. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for being my sketching buddies. I hope you guys learned a little bit. If you guys did, please make sure to like and share the streams, like anything of mine. If you guys learned anything today and you guys actually did have something click, share something of mine. I don't care what it is. Just do me a favor, help me grow as a person so that I can help you guys, and even more so people grow in the future as well. Thank you so much. Books on sale in my actual store. There's 4 books now, and the pinup book is out for sale too. So if you guys like sexy ladies, that is the book for you. There's 110 pages. Anyways, later, Gators. Talk to you soon.